Hey, what's up guys, aarava here and welcome back to a brand new video today. And today we're back with the maxed out F1 2018 career mode car, the Williams racing car that has every single R&D part installed onto it. Aero, engine, chassis, even reliability, which doesn't mean too much for the performance, but we've got the entire tree coloured in and filled in and we've maximised the car. In the last kind of video with this car, we tested how fast it really was against the default Season 2 not really too much upgraded field, basically, and we got to from last to first very easily within about 4 or 5 laps, and we also compared it to the default Williams car. If you did miss that video, by the way, then you can click the annotation in the top right now, and of course, if you have actually no idea how on earth we got to this point, then you might have missed the kind of part number 1, I guess, was the very first experiment, seeing what happens when we have 1 million R&D points to spend in F1 2018 career mode. Now, you guys have commented below in the last 2 videos we've done of these F1 2018 experiments, a lot of different ideas and scenarios and experiments that we're going to do in the future, but of course, as you can imagine, a lot of those things take time to record, because especially if I'm doing one entire season in one video, it takes some time to record. But in the meanwhile, whilst we record that in the background and I get those videos ready, what we can do is continue to test stuff with the maxed out car, because some of you guys were still wanting to know a few different things about the maxed out car, and I saw last video there was one comment that was really thumbs up quite a lot, which was, what's the top end speed? Can we see what the top end speed is maybe at Baku or Monza, or how fast can we basically get this car to go in a straight line? Of course, we saw how fast it is in a sense of the lap time, how fast it goes around the Chinese Grand Prix last time out, and so quite nicely, the very next race in this kind of quote-unquote scenario career mode of 1 million R&D points is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, so we can actually see what this maxed out car can maybe do on the main straight with DRS at Baku. So here we are in the career mode session then in practice, and first of all we're going to start things off by just seeing how fast the car can go with a default setup. So 6 wings and everything else is untouched on this setup, just to see purely what the car can do in this condition without even fiddling out with the wings. So obviously once we get through the S section, then Baku just a long straight and we're climbing up the speed, then 8th gear with overtake mode and rich mix, and we get up to 224, I think that was 224 miles per hour on the default setup there. Of course, overtake mode on ERS gives us the best kind of electrical boost on the straight at the top end gears 7 and 8, and also rich mix as well available in practice. Technically I could have maybe done this in qualifying maybe to give us the maximum fuel mixture, but at the time I didn't really think about that, and I was just focusing on actually just doing the kind of, you know, going through the motions of actually doing the setup and stuff like that. So now we did the default, so remember that number 224, and so now we're going to pump up the tires to the full pressure, go for 1-1 wings, and remember 1-1 wings on this game in the previous kind of 2 games really, 1-1 wings means it's the lowest aero we can run at this circuit, not necessarily flat out in the game. So 1-1 wings at Monza is different to 1-1 wings at Baku, so that's also a bit of a tester really, kind of we're doing a whole load of experiments here, seeing the difference between Baku and Monza low aero. But here we go then, already got past 224 and we're flying to, there we go, 230. For one split second we got to 230 miles per hour. So from default setup to pumping up the tires and going low aero, we got what was that, we gained 6 miles per hour then in and you can see over a course of a race that might be a big difference there. So you can see there just the difference in the setup in the game. But now it's time to see what the difference was to the default car. So here we are in time trial. Remember, time trial is ideal conditions for a hot lap here. We can't even change the fuel and ERS mixture here. We're on maximum fuel. We got to assume we're on the best ERS mode available, and so this should be prime position to go as fast as we possibly can on the straights. We've got 1-1 wings again, pumped up the tires in time trial, and we only go to a maximum of 215 miles per hour. So even compared to the default setup on our maxed out car, we went considerably faster. We went 9 miles per hour faster on a default maxed out car with 6 wings compared to 1-1 wings on a Season 1 default car as it comes on the Williams car. And then comparing that to the same setup for time trial and our maxed out Williams car in Season 2, that's a whole gain of 15 miles per hour. That is huge. That's pretty much like almost the difference between the Mercedes and when the Honda used to be rubbish, which is pretty damn crazy. So that's the comparison between the maxed out top end speed speed and the default one at Baku. But now it's time to ask the question of how fast can our maxed out car go outright. You know, is there a circuit that'll actually go faster? So I actually went to a few tracks, because there are quite a few on the calendar which are kind of more high-speed circuits that you think of and you kind of straight away remember they have a long back straight. So you can see in the video we went to the Canadian Grand Prix. We got to 226 miles per hour. This was with a setup for 1-1 wings, and we actually maxed out at 228 if I cut the corner at turn 1, but that doesn't really count though in terms of an actual experiment. We tried it again. I just wanted to see maybe if it would go any faster around Canada. So I don't know, I just wanted to kind of test the theory of the wing settings maybe on Canada were a little bit higher or lower. It seems like Canada actually gives a little bit higher wings than Baku maybe. So by cutting the corner illegally at turn 1 and going straight through on the pit exit, we could get to 227, but that didn't really count, to be honest. So I think the maximum doing it legitly was 226 at the Canadian Grand Prix. So still the highest remains at 230 by doing it legit at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We then go to Paul Ricard. So Paul Ricard actually, if it wasn't for the chicane, it might be a really good shout at maxing out a car at top end speed, because remember that back straight, it's got that chicane which obviously F1 races at, but in other versions of Paul Ricard that's not there. Like, it's just a long straight. So if it wasn't a part of that, we could get to the top end speed, because on this game, once you go off the actual circuit path, it starts the grip levels on the track slow down. So you can see here, I'm about to go full throttle completely through. We get to 229, and then I hit the bollards there, and that slows me down. But if there were no bollards there, and if I kept going on, and the styrofoam things didn't slow me down, I think Paul Ricard could probably try and match Baku for how fast we could get. But that was a close enough test. 229 at Paul Ricard, so only 1 mile per hour off then. From Azerbaijan, so that was pretty damn good actually with the maxed out Williams. So, but still, the remaining highest is 230 still. So now it's time to skip all the way to the Italian Grand Prix, Monza, and see what we can do there. Also, for good measure, just to make sure we had the maximum performance out of the car, I changed all the engine components. So this is a fresh, completely fresh engine, and here we are then, maxed out Williams car at Monza, 1-1 wings, tyres pumped up to the maximum pressure, overtake mode, maximum, because we're in qualifying here, and we get to 236 before we hit the end of that turn 1 there. So 236 legit by the time we get to the end of that straight there. So that is 6 miles per hour faster than the one we did at Baku there. Obviously, like I said, 1-1 wings at Monza is lower than 1-1 wings at Baku there. So that is the maximum, 236 miles per hour. And funnily enough, as I was going through this and going through the season trying to get to these tracks, I actually ended up winning the Constructors' Championship at Russia, because this entire time simulating it, obviously Lance Stroll and myself were just getting 1-2, 1-2 there. So a little caveat to that story of doing this experiment. But then here we go at Mexico, because I saw a few people were curious, maybe Mexico could be a good one to get the maximum out of the car. But remember, like I said, the wings are different. So here, again, same setup, 1-1 wings, tyre pumped up, overtake mode maximum, and we get to 232. So Mexico ends up being 4 miles per hour slower than Monza, but nothing beats Monza, and I think it's purely because of that wing difference. If I had the same aero, if 1-1 wings at Monza was the same as 1-1 wings at Mexico, I feel like Mexico could easily beat the Italian Grand Prix record here. But it's because you're at Mexico, remember that it's at a higher altitude, so generally all the teams bring higher aero than you actually think they need. Because of the higher altitude, you need more aero to work with the thinner air. So technically, if we brought the wings, if we could somehow bring the wings from Monza to Mexico, we could even break past and go towards 240 probably. But in the end, the Italian Grand Prix was the winner then. Surprise, surprise. And we got to 236. Now, finally, before we end up the video, obviously you guys are probably curious to see the comparison to the default Williams car, because we did that at Baku, so it's only fitting I do that here at Monza. So we saw what the difference was, 15 miles per hour at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from time trial Williams, which is a default Williams car, to the maxed out one in career mode that we have with 1 million R&D points. And so here we go on the exit, and we go towards the end of the main straight towards turn 1 in time trial this is, and we look at the bottom right there and we wait to see how high that's going to go, and it's going to be 219 miles per hour. So, at Baku, we gain 15 miles per hour. Here at Monza, we gain 17 miles per hour here. So, a decent amount on the default there. And you can imagine that that's 17 miles per hour. Obviously, we're not going to gain 17 miles per hour on every single straight around Monza. But you would at least expect to gain maybe about 5 miles per hour on every single straight, maybe. So, around Monza, the actual lap time game probably is ridiculous compared to the default car. But obviously, you guys knew how crazy the maxed out car was. You saw that in the kind of previous part, I guess you could say, where we did the race at the Chinese Grand Prix. But guys, if you have enjoyed then this top end speed kind of experiment with a maxed out car in F1 2018 career mode, then hit that like button for sure, and let me know what you thought in the comments below, and let me know if there's any other curiosities you have about a maxed out Williams car in career mode, and I'll try and do my best to kind of show you guys what it's like with this car. Obviously, I still have this career mode saved, so I can go back to it and we can test things out if anything interesting and new comes up from your guys' minds. Let me know in the comments below. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. Like I said, I will be bringing out some more different F1 2018 experiments with not just a maxed out car, but other kind of scenarios that you guys have been giving me in the comments below. So do get subscribed for that for the future. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I've been aarava, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.